good morning, Shannon, and the flight control teams in Houston and all around the world. Good to hear you this morning. I want to thank my family, Robbie, Caitlin, Taylor, and Zach, for the great song. We're looking forward to another great day in space.
And it's going to be a great day in space indeed. And to start it off, I have a couple of words for you. You're a go to swap out the cards in the WLES.
That wake-up call for the crew of Endeavour was City of Blinding Lights. Again, that's City of Blinding Lights, and it was performed by U2. It was done for Kimbrough. As usual, Capcom Shannon Lucid followed up the playing of that music with some early morning instructions and advisories for the crews of both spacecraft. International Space Station crew members are getting their wake-up tone at the same time. And indeed, at least two of the Endeavour astronauts, today's spacewalkers, Heidi Marie Definition Piper and Steve Bowen, are in the International Space Station. They've spent the night camping out in the U.S. airlock Quest. That's done in order to avoid the possibilities of decompression sickness, or the bends. The Quest is depressurized to 10.2 pounds per square inch. That's compared to 14.7 pounds per square inch in the rest of the station and the orbiter Endeavour. The same pressure is on the surface of Earth at sea level. And the pressure reduction is to remove nitrogen from the system of the two spacewalkers. Decompression sickness is caused when the human body is brought from a high pressure to a lower one, a relatively lower pressure. And the spacewalkers will do their work in spacesuits pressurized to between 4.5 and 5 pounds per square inch.
This is Mission Control Houston. The two spacewalkers on board the space station and the Quest airlock module getting the go-ahead to remove their masks and terminate their pure oxygen pre-breathe as they get ready to suit up and head out the door for today's extravehicular activity. This is Mission Control Houston. The EVA officer in the International Space Station Flight Control Room reports that the airlock hatch has been opened. That is the hatch that connects the equipment lock portion of the Quest airlock module to the airlock portion that will allow the spacewalkers to exit the space station and step out into space. Here's another view of the spacewalk preparations. This view looking in from the Unity module into the equipment lock where the two spacewalkers sit on either wall. Still connected up to the space station's power systems. Greg Shamatov in the back there in the crew lock, getting things all shaped up and ready for the two spacewalkers to enter in and begin final preparations for their exit into space. This is Mission Control Houston. Commander Chris Ferguson and newly arrived Endeavour crew member Greg Shamatov closing the hatch into the crew lock portion of the Quest airlock module. Isolating Heidi Definition Piper and Steve Bowen in that crew lock module. Currently watching the helmet camera of spacewalker Heidi Definition Piper. You can tell that by the 16 in the lower right-hand corner of the picture.
in the pouch. The pouch. Pouch is back on the bulkhead. Oops. Came out of the pouch.
Okay, Heidi, you have a go to egress.
Okay, that's gonna work.
Spacewalker Heidi Definition Piper carefully managing her tethers as she gets the go-ahead to exit the airlock of the International Space Station.
Safer handles, okay. Safer handles, deploy handles down. And my manual isolation valve is down.
Copy that, Heidi. Both safer handles are down. You'll next get the crew lock back from Steve.
Okay, it's coming down.
Again, the official start of today's spacewalk at 12:09 p.m. Central Time. About 40 minutes earlier than had been originally planned.
So far, no, Heidi. Okay, going to get the EPFR. My DRT, telephone box.
Okay, and you'll head up to the tether shuttles, get the shuttles, and install them on the cedar rail.
Okay. Okay, Shane, I'm outside the airlock, and I'll check my safer handles.
All right, we see you, Steve. Welcome to EVA.
Thanks. That was down.
All right, Steve, copy. Both your safer handles are down. You can get the large bag ready, Steve, and just do a little translation adaptation.
And that's the word. Okay, Shane, I'm at the tether shuttle, and I'll pick them up.
Copy.
This is Mission Control Houston. All systems going well as Heidi Definition Piper and Steve Bowen begin the process of getting outside the Quest airlock module, getting set up for the initial task of the spacewalk, which will be to remove a nitrogen tank assembly that's been placed on external stowage platform number 3 and pre-positioned for the spacewalk. A good look at Heidi Definition Piper in the spacesuit with the red stripes near the end of the space station's robotic arm, Canadarm2, and external stowage platform number 3, where that nitrogen tank assembly rests that's going to be replaced on this spacewalk.
I need to make sure the tether point is towards the end effector.
Yep. And I think that's good. You can stop motion.
Okay, motion stopped.
You're going to pull the ingress thing out. Heidi, copy that. Once you get in, you can attach your ingress aid, mini workstation effects to the ingress aid.
Okay.
Okay, Shane, I'm going to give you block instruction real quick. All right, I'm ready, Steve. And it looks just like I came out the door.
See your tether there?
Yep.
And then you can get your legs around it there.
Shane Kimbrough inside space station, helping coordinate the activities outside, walking Steve Bowen through some tether placement. First limb in the South Pacific in view as robotic arm operator Don Pettit continues to move Heidi's definition Piper away from the...
Heidi, we're ramping out. Okay.
Okay, I see the cover.
Okay, Steve, you're going to close the hatch window flap.
Which stars would you like? Close hatch window flap. Big snap. Flap, gonna go closed.
These stars are 103 and 108 in slots 2 and 3.
Okay, we'll select 103 and 108.
Thank you.
Okay, Steve, next you're going to fold the Velcro cover over the Velcro.
Full Velcro cover over Velcro.
This nitrogen tank assembly removal and delivery to the space station's cargo carrier in the payload bay, the first major task of this EVA.
Alright, here are my gloves. I think they look pretty good. I don't see any tears. I don't even see any scratches yet.
Okay, thanks, Steve.
Steve Bowen and the view from his helmet camera, positioning himself on the lightweight mission peculiar equipment support structure carrier, or LMC, getting ready for the final movement of the Canadian robotic arm to bring that nitrogen tank assembly down to the carrier for installation.
Heidi, we're going to start by moving you down into the payload bay, and we're starting that motion now.
Don Pettit getting the go-ahead to begin maneuvering Heidi's definition Piper and the nitrogen tank assembly into the rear of Endeavour's cargo bay.
Okay, Heidi, you can bring it down. Stop motion, Sandy.
Okay, we're stopping.
Okay, let me pitch the other end in. I see it in place, Heidi.
That's right. Alpha 4 clockwise 2 will be looking for turns and torque.
Here's a view of Heidi's definition Piper's angle on the activity as she uses that cordless drill to drive home some bolts that will secure the nitrogen tank assembly to the carrier structure.
Roll component, can you?
They had just a little bit of difficulty with the attachment mechanism to the cargo carrier in the payload bay, but overcame that and are now in the process of moving back up to external storage platform 3, where they will position this flex hose rotary coupler for future use on the station. This is a view from definition Piper's helmet camera. as she prepares tools and equipment for the upcoming Solar Alpha rotary joint cleaning and maintenance. There are two of these Solar Alpha rotary joints on the International Space Station. They connect the port 3 and port 4 left side truss segments and the starboard 3 and starboard 4 right side segments, and allow the solar arrays to rotate and track the sun.
And I'm going to go ahead and take Steve's stringer and put it over on phase 2 for him.
Copy that.
Definition Piper now in position at Solar Alpha rotary joint cover number 8. She'll be removing covers number 7 and 8 and getting ready for the replacement of trundle bearing assembly in that area. Once that trundle bearing assembly is removed, she will use special cloths to clean the race ring and to apply some lubricant to the ring before reinstalling the trundle bearing assembly.
Hey, Shane, I think we had a grease gun explode in the large bag. If there's grease in the bag.
That could have been the pressure changes.
Okay, copy that. And we're looking in your WVS now.
Yeah, it's on the camera. Then I got a little bit on my glove. Let me see, I've got a spare white caddy in here. Let me see if I can find it.
This is Mission Control Houston with a view from Heidi's Definition Piper's helmet camera. She reported down to the ground that she was accessing a large orbital replacement unit bag. One of the...
for Heidi getting deployed in the bag. We recommend using a dry wipe to clean up the camera.
Okay, copy. Heidi, did you copy that?
Yeah, I did. I'm cleaning my gloves here first.
She reported that one of the caulking guns released some grease inside the bag, and it got on her gloves and on some other equipment. She's been instructed to use one of the dry wipes available to clean that off of her gloves and a camera system.
We have a lost spool. One of my crew lock bags was not transferred and it's loose.
Okay, Heidi, crew lock bag.
Yeah. You see it?
Yeah, we see it. Hey, Mark, just looking on that list for the crew lock bag that we think's gone. Looks like two grease guns, white caddy, scraper, debris container, scraper, and a large trash bag.
Houston concurs. Thanks, Shane.
Okay, and we think we can, Steve's got all that stuff as well, so we can, Heidi can get working with Steve's equipment if you agree with that, and then we'll just share when he gets over here.
Houston concurs, and concerning the grease gun that got some grease out of it, we want to confirm if that was a J-hook. Stand by.
This is a view of that bag as space station cameras and shuttle cameras are tracking as it drifts away from the space station. There are duplicate pieces of hardware in Steve Bowen's bag that the crew can use as they continue to work on the Solar Alpha rotary joint. We're watching downlink video from the helmet camera of Heidi's Definition Piper outside the International Space Station as she resumes work with the Solar Alpha rotary joint cleanup and lubrication. EV officers here in Mission Control report that they believe they have enough tools and equipment to complete this leg of the solar alpha rotary joint trundle bearing assembly removal and race ring cleaning.
No damage, a little bit of black marking, not much. Bearing package going into the bag. Debris coming by here. Alright, that's complete chain.
Okay, PGT again, and I'll remind you, don't push in on bolt 3 while you're driving.
Got it.
And Steve Bowen tucking that trundle bearing assembly after its removal into a trundle bearing assembly bag, a specially developed bag that's a little bit like a dry bag used by sailors to keep equipment from getting wet. A little bit also like a coffee bag, loose ground coffee bag container with the Velcro and fold over tabs that allow it to be sealed up so that any of that debris that was associated with that trundle bearing assembly won't be floating free and a danger to any of the crew members inside the station when it's brought back inside. Those bags will remain sealed up all the way down to the ground. Here's a look at Heidi Stephanician Piper and her work to clean up the race ring using those wipes. You can see the lubricant still on her gloves from when that lubricant canister disgorged quite a bit of the brake hood material into the bag that was then subsequently lost.
And Steve, we're going to roll and then fold.
Fold and fold, okay.
Okay, Shane, I think I've cleaned it all up.
Okay, Heidi, you can stow that dry wipe in the trash bag.
Okay, that's enough.
Then we'll be ready to lube, so you can get another dry wipe and the J-hook nozzle.
Each race ring has 3 different surfaces, and the crew members are going to try to provide lubrication on 2 of those surfaces. One surface is just a flat surface, easily accessible with a straight nozzle caulk gun. The other one requires a J-formed caulk gun to get behind the race ring so that they can apply the lubricant.
Okay, yeah, that's fine.
That is the J gun that Shane Kimbrough from inside the space station was referring to. This is a view from Steve Bowen's camera as he watches Heidi Stephanician Piper begin to work into getting that lubrication gun with a J-shaped nozzle on it so she can begin lubricating the canted or slanted surface of the race ring.
I'm looking for anything else I need to get here. Only tiny bit of debris on the inboard ring.
Yeah, you're welcome to pat that if you want. You just have to hit it with the dry wipe later.
Yeah.
Alright. Otherwise, you're done there. You can stow that in the trash bag.
Thank you, mate.
is a look at Steve Bowen's helmet camera as he uses the appropriate wipes to perform the cleaning procedure on the race ring of the
connector mated.
solar alpha rotary joint. Meanwhile, Heidi Stephanician Piper connecting the power and data cable connections to the recently replaced trundle bearing assembly on her part of the solar alpha rotary joint. Tucking the old trundle bearing assembly into its TBA bag so that it can be secured and then brought in with no fear of any of the metal filings or contamination getting out into the crew cabin once it's returned.
Okay, you can safe and stow the gun. Plungered 180 degrees black triangle down. Set off now perpendicular and install the tip cover.
And that's complete.
Okay, you get a dry wipe out now with the scraper and the debris container.
Dry wipe, scraper, debris container, I'll drop that, thanks.
This particular view taking a look at Stephanician Piper's helmet camera as she is putting back on one of the trundle bearing assembly covers that was removed to facilitate replacement of the TBA.
And that cover is installed.
All right, that's great work, Heidi. Keep the PGT out. We're going to have you remove covers 9 and 10, and then we'll have you go work on the SLR.
Okay. Let me rig some tethers here.
Okay.
Meanwhile, this is a look at Steve Bowen's helmet camera as he works with one of the scraper tools, removing debris that is pancaked on the outer lip of the solar alpha rotary joint. Part of the cleaning activities designed to get a clean race ring so that the trundle bearing assemblies can roll freely on them with some additional lubrication.
Alpha 6, counterclockwise 2.
Okay, Steve, that's good. Once you get the scraper all cleaned up, you can close the debris container. Use a dry wipe if you need to clean up the ring or any of your tools.
That'll work.
And also look where the mount package area is on the inboard side, and if there's something there, you can use the dry wipe to clean that up.
Just where I hit. The bottom here. If Heidi said, it all came out. There it goes.
Okay, thanks. Nice job. Now you're going to apply the J-hook nozzle on the inner cannon surface of the outboard ring.
All right, that's the part. Let me get a good position for that.
Continuing to watch television views from the helmet-mounted camera on Steve Bowen, one of the two spacewalkers outside the International Space Station, working to replace trundle bearing assemblies and lubricate the solar alpha rotary joint that allows the space station's starboard solar array to rotate and track the sun. Right now working with the J-shaped lubrication gun to put lubricant known as brake coat on the inner canted surface of the race ring that allows the solar alpha rotary joint to rotate and track the sun. This is the
126.
Surface that is not believed to be damaged. The outer canted surface has clearly been damaged and has been some debris, and part of the work the crew is doing is to clean up that debris before lubricating it. The special J-shaped nozzle on the gun allows them to get around and lubricate the opposite surface. The grease will be spread further around after the trundle bearing assemblies are moved along the race ring and allowed to spread the grease.
View from the helmet camera of Mission Specialist Steve Bowen. He's looking into his tool caddy. Bowen has already finished replacing the trundle bearing 6 that he was scheduled to work on. That was the only one he was scheduled to replace today. Meanwhile, Mission Specialist Piper has already removed and reinstalled trundle bearing 10 and also removed trundle bearing 11. Those are the 3 of the trundle bearings that the spacewalkers were scheduled to work on today. Bowen's replacing the covers that he removed to get to the trundle bearing assembly that he replaced earlier, and also to the race ring that he cleaned. Finishing up his task for the EVA.
Gotcha. Thanks, Mark. Up one more time. Kicking my finger out. Okay.
So view from Mission Specialist Heidi Definition Piper's camera at the Quest airlock, where you can see that Mission Specialist Steve Bowen has already made it back in.
I will do that. I can find it. When is it?
See here the hatch opening on the Quest airlock between the equipment lock and the crew lock, getting ready to let Mission Specialist Heidi Definition Piper and Steve Bowen back inside the International Space Station after a 6-hour and 52-minute long spacewalk. In the foreground here is Mission Specialist Greg Shamatoff opening the hatch in the black shirt, helped by the Space Shuttle Endeavour Commander Chris Ferguson. Mission Specialist Steve Bowen now back inside the International Space Station. You can differentiate him between him and his fellow spacewalker by the lack of red stripes on his spacesuit. Mission Specialist Heidi Definition Piper's spacesuit has red stripes visible around the legs of the suit. Back with a view inside the Quest airlock, you can see here Mission Specialist Heidi Definition Piper cleaning off her gloves, making sure to get off any of the brake coat grease that she was using to lubricate the race ring of the Solar Alpha rotary joint. Grease is a little different than grease you might use for your car here on Earth. It has a thicker consistency, more like toothpaste, and is fairly easy to clean off. Airlock's getting a bit crowded in there. You've got, in addition to the 2 spacewalkers, Commander Chris Ferguson and Mission Specialist now, Greg Shamatoff, joined by the Station Commander, Mike Fink, in the red shirt, and getting some video of the operations is Mission Specialist Don Pettit. While Piper and Bowen were outside the station on today's spacewalk, the crew left inside was also very busy. Yesterday, after the Leonardo multipurpose logistics module was installed, the crew got right to work and was able to get so far ahead on their task list that they finished the work that had been planned for today. And so the work plan for tomorrow was moved to today's task list. And they actually finished that several hours ago, getting the 3 of the racks brought up by the logistics module moved over to the station, including the water recovery system racks, 2 of those, and the galley rack that will bring up some new kitchen equipment.